Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Couch GMs Podcast. It is Monday, October 27th, 2025. I'm your host, George Kurt, joined by the one and only Cody Broadcap. How you doing today after a good old Couch GM sweep?
I'm doing good. Not better way to spend National Tight End Day than with a Couch GM sweep, which is when both our teams win. So Packers and Chargers.
No.
What?
I'm a Chargers fan. I don't know what you're talking about. Did both of our tight ends score a touchdown on National Tight Ends Day too?
Tucker Kraft went off for 7 catches, 143, and 2 tutties. So
I thought he got at least one. I forgot he got 2, and we had Dallas Goedert with a touchdown too, so I'll take it.
Maybe some guys on tonight's game, like a Travis Kelce finds the end zone, even though it's not technically. Maybe a Zach Ertz. Maybe an old man tight end day. A little late to National Tight End Day.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Kelce is part of the group that created National Tight Ends Day, so I think he can kind of say whatever he wants it to be.
Exactly. Also interesting, they did it on a week that I'm sure they just pick a week every year.
Yeah.
But 6 teams on bye. Some top tight ends like Sam Laporta, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, all not able to participate.
I hope they score next week, and then they're like, "This is for us. This is for making National Tight Ends Day on a day we didn't play." I don't know.
But there was a lot of other things that happened in the NFL besides National Tight Ends Day, and we're going to talk about it today.
Yes, we are. In the meantime, bookkeeping. Make sure you follow us at the Couch GMs, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok to get even more than you do from the show. Feel free to DM us with any fantasy questions you have each week, or join us live Mondays and Thursdays, 6:30 East on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch to answer your questions live. All right, Cody, what is happening? The big news. I mean, not really that big, but it could have been a few years ago. Tyler Lockett reuniting with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith in Las Vegas after he was granted his release from the Tennessee Titans last week.
Yeah, definitely. I saw that one, and a little bit inside baseball knowledge for the listeners out there right now. I spent 6 hours in a car yesterday. So I was seeing through ESPN updates, trying to catch the end of a red zone when you're filling up for gas. So I might have a couple of these just like last week. So I'm like, wait, I missed that one. So George's going to carry the load here, but I did see the Tyler Lockett reunion. And for me, the first thing I thought is, okay, Jacoby Myers should get moved to the trade deadline.
I don't see any way he doesn't after everything that's kind of fallen. They have 2 young guys in the house. They brought in Tyler Lockett. I hope Jacoby Myers goes somewhere where he can be effective.
Yeah, I think a reunion in New England might make sense for him, although Kayshon Boutte, I believe, had a really good day yesterday as well. Or maybe staying in that division, but going to Buffalo to give them, a more secure guy would be a good fit for him. But I expect him to be on the move after this. And the Tyler Lockett doesn't move the needle too much for me. This Raiders team is struggling. I'm interested to see if this is like a 1 year. At first I thought Pete Carroll was in it for the long haul, and now I'm starting to wonder, is like they missed out on Ben Johnson. Is Pete Carroll just a stopgap name, and then they're going to find someone else this offseason, or if they don't like the options, then they'll move on from him and put him up back in the front office like Seattle did.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have come out of retirement to be on the sideline for 1 season, but
That's
maybe
true.
it is a 2-3 year kind of deal, which is honestly not far off from what we were expecting. Maybe like at his age, how long did we really expect him to go?
Yeah, that's a very good point for sure. So we'll see. And like I said, not too much moves, for Tyler Lockett. I think his only touchdown in Tennessee was the fumble play in Arizona. I think he was technically the recipient of the touchdown.
I think he was, and yeah, that was it. And yeah, there wasn't many catches either. I mean, they're using the 2 rookies and Calvin Ridley, who might even be under investigation for the NFL again. I think there was a very shady thing I heard from that. And then they also have Dan Jefferson there too. He's been like 5th on the depth chart, basically.
Agreed. What else we got?
Before we get to injuries, why don't we go to a fan question really quick?
Sounds good. We got the citizen over on YouTube.
So I'm trying to trade for Achane. I need a running back. What kind of combination could I throw out to snag him? He has Puka, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, and Quentin Johnston at wide receiver. Running backs are Dobbins and Bill. 12-man PPR.
This one, you're going to have to work on this one. Maybe even actually like reach out to the guy instead of, or the person. If you're playing on a platform that has a messaging system, which they all should at this one, uh, I think you could. But with Puka's injury up in the air, you just got CD back and he missed a lot of time. I don't think you're trading Puka for an HN anyways. I'm looking at DK and Johnson just goose egged. Lad McConkey is starting to come up. Heck, even Trey Palmer caught a touchdown on Thursday Night Football. So DK is the name for me, even though he hasn't been super productive. He's been hit or miss as well. And then, honestly, I would say Dobbins, but I don't know if DK and Dobbins does it, or you might have to give up both for HN. And I think that would be then too much to tank your team. You did add in there that you are 1-7, so sometimes you have to go.
I think it means the other guy's 1-7.
Oh, the guy is 1-7.
Well, maybe desperation. If he'll maybe trade HN to get depth, is what I'm thinking.
You could throw something. Adam is. I'm assuming this is not like redraft, so you can't do any like picks or anything. Or this is redraft, and you can't do like picks or anything like that. But
yeah.
I mean,
my initial thought is I don't think you're getting any value out of Johnston because he was hurt and then goose egged. But I would, as much as I don't think it's like I don't think Dobbins is great. If he's your running back one right now, I want to try to hold him. I would try to put together DK and Bill and see if he can pull it off. See if the guy's desperate.
And if he says no, like, are you comfortable doing CD for HN straight up? Because that seems like more value. But with no Puka, then you just like completely just flip where your needs are.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would do that.
And I mean, I don't think you have to worry about Puka. We didn't get to injuries yet, but it sounds like they're confident Puka is going to play this week, which is good for you in that case. But I don't know if trading CD for HN straight helps you too much or not.
Yeah, so that would be my best advice. DK and a running back. If you have someone else on your wide receiver, like another lower tier wide receiver, or you have a top defense or something, just to throw like one little extra kicker in there, that might not be a bad option. But my first offer would be DK and whichever running back you like, you want to keep the least amount.
Or, I mean, maybe you'll get lucky and Bill will go off tonight, and that'll help the value a little bit.
That is true.
Thank you for the question. If you have anything else, we're always here. And that's for anyone else in the chat. Feel free to drop your questions down in the comments. I mentioned that Puka is expected to be back this week. We're going to have a bigger update on him and some of these other guys that have been missing time later this week when we have our show on Thursday. So I didn't include a whole lot of them on here. Mostly it's the new injuries I put on here, starting with the big one where Cam Scadaboo is out for the season with the dislocated ankle. I mean, painful to see that one, and it was not a pretty looking injury either, honestly.
Yeah, definitely a tough loss for the Giants. They'd been playing better since they made the switch. A lot of thanks to Jackson Dark, but also a big boost to Cam Scadaboo. They did just get Tyron Tracy back in the mix, so I think he'll go into like a top waiver guy or potential spot starts if you need him. He won't get like the same workload that Scadaboo was getting, so he just has a little bit more home run ability. So it'll be hit or miss as we go through bye weeks if you need a spot start here or there, depending on matchup.
I mean, if you think the Giants offense is better than last year's, Tracy was still a viable fantasy asset during the year last year. He kind of had his breakout and then they drafted his replacement and whatever. So there's still a chance that he can be a valuable asset as a flex down the stretch too. So if he's out there, I know we're going to talk waivers later. He's my top guy for this week for sure.
All right, why don't you talk about the guy running the ball for your Philadelphia Eagles?
Saquon Barkley left the Eagles game in the third quarter with a pulled groin. It kind of looked like he wanted to come back in, but by that point, the Eagles kind of had the game in hand, and Tank Bigsby was rolling also, which was kind of surprising to see. He didn't get a carry the first few weeks he was with the team. But they're expecting Barkley to be okay after the bye. Eagles do have a bye week 9, so don't have to worry about this one this week. You're going to be without him regardless.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about that one next week. Another rookie running back that left the game with an injury, not as severe as Cam, but Judkins left with the shoulder injury. That Browns offense is still struggling mightily. But hopefully Judkins can get back in sooner rather than later.
I believe they have a bye next week as well. So again, similar situation. I'm not 100% sure where he's going to be though in week 10. We didn't get that much information on that. So we'll give you an update when we get it. shoulder injuries with running backs, a lot of times it's a pain management issue. So we're going to have to see.
Speaking of pain management, one guy that is getting surgery to take away his pain, Carson Wentz. You saw him fight through that Thursday night game, but he is going to get shoulder surgery ending his season. And it sounds like JJ McCarthy should be back this week. So we'll see how he rebounds after the Vikings have looked not great over the last couple of weeks, and then now Wentz out.
You and I kind of talked last week too, like it felt like they were holding JJ McCarthy back, trying to give him more time to develop because he hadn't been practicing so much, and he was emergency third quarterback on Thursday. So I'm not worried about any injury concerns with him, but we're going to see if it's going to be a roller coaster ride like it was early in the season with him, or if he's going to be able to start putting some stuff together since he had a little bit of game time, but a little bit of rust to shake off too. He hasn't played since week 2.
Yeah, and then speaking of quarterbacks not playing for a while, Shanahan says Purdy is too early to say if he is going to play this Sunday or if it'll be another week of Mac Jones. He did go on to say he doesn't think it'll be a long shot, but they're going to wait till Wednesday, so we'll have more of an update on that situation on our Thursday show.
Yes, we will. And then a guy who plays on Thursday, Lamar Jackson. Originally, I heard earlier today that there was uncertainty if he was going to play. There was just a Ravens press conference where Harbaugh said he was a full participant in practice in their simulated practice report.
If you can believe him.
If you can. Yeah, there was a whole thing last week where he was a full participant with the scout team, and then after the NFL looked at it, they let him change it to limited. I don't 100% know how that works. But then that was obviously he was out last week. But the expectation is that Lamar is going to start Thursday Night Football. We're obviously going to wait and see on Thursday if he's active or not, and we'll know that while we're on the air on Thursday, so we'll have an actual confirmation.
Right.
But at least it's the first game of the week. It's not like a situation. I mean, he played 1 o'clock this week. It could have been worse. If they had pulled out on a Monday, there would have been pitchforks and torches outside of that practice facility or something for fantasy owners.
Yeah, at least it was updated and he was ruled out by Saturday, even with the 1 o'clock game. So I do think that is it for injuries, and it's a little bit shorter of a list than we've had the last couple of weeks.
Don't get too excited. It's because there's less games.
Bro, why did you have to bring the move down like that?
Because I feel like this season has been just on the hamster wheel, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
All right, why don't we have some fun? Go to reality check. I wanted to bring the mood back up by talking about the number 1 fantasy player in the league so far, Jonathan Taylor. I want to give a little context before I ask you the question. He's currently on pace for 460 PPR points this year. He broke the 200 mark already here through 8 weeks. Will Jonathan Taylor be able to break the single season fantasy points? He needs to bring that pace up by 21 points.
I guess going to say no, but they do have the extra game now that the other. I guess CMC had that back in 2019 at 471, but not in 2006 when LT set the record. So, I don't know if he'll catch LT, but the Colts have looked really good, and Jonathan Taylor is like, honestly, the way the league has gone so far. Like I think there's some quarterbacks playing well, but I think if he continues this stretch, it'll be hard not to have him in a legit MVP conversation.
Exactly, because he's got 14 touchdowns through 8 weeks. Could you imagine somebody getting 30 touchdowns? He's almost on pace for 30 touchdowns.
You're going to make
non-quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. I'm trying to look up. I think Sean Alexander had that 1 year where he was in the 20s.
And honestly, I have to think back to where I saw that stat because he actually technically passed for a touchdown this week. If you didn't see, Cody, it was a trick play to, I don't know.
That is one of those things I didn't know that happened. And
never mind. I'm actually mixing up. It's Breece Hall I'm thinking of. My bad.
Okay, yeah. I did see the Breece Hall one when they upset the Bengals. Also, moment of silence quick for Nick Mangold. Tough situation there for him. Good for the Jets to get him a win in his hometown. But then Sean Alexander had 25 total touchdowns in 2005. Okay. So that's a number that I'm looking to see if he can get to, or at least not, because Alexander did win MVP that year. So if he breaks that, it would be a really good argument for him.
Yes, exactly. And even with the extra game, if you say 27, like he's still on pace for that. I mean, double it, he's at 28, and then you give him an extra game too. So I want to see a non-quarterback MVP. This would be the way to do it, but we've also seen 2,000-yard seasons that haven't been recognized either. So I don't know if he's going to break 2,000 rushing yards. He has a chance to break 2,000 all-purpose, and if you have all those touchdowns in, we'll see what happens. It's a lot of fantasy points, though.
For sure.
Fan question?
Yeah, always.
All right. JHang20 on YouTube. Half PPR. Would you trade Dak and Woody Marks for Lamar Jackson?
All right, George, I need you to help me out.
Yep.
I didn't see the Texans game. I know they won. I don't have the stats lined up in front of me. Did Marks go back to being? Is he still the lead guy?
It was a very heavy split.
Okay.
I think Chubb out-touched him still, but it was very close. I'm going to keep rambling while I bring up the exact stats because I don't want to give you something completely wrong. We are looking at 11 for 62 for Marks, but 17 for 56 for Chubb. So he was more effective, but less carries.
So I think I know the injury is scary, but I think I want Lamar Jackson. So if you're getting Lamar Jackson, I think I'm okay with this deal. But if you're giving up Lamar Jackson, I don't think I would do it.
Marks, as we get through bye weeks, I don't ever envision him having a big enough split that I'm comfortable starting him on a regular basis. So I would also, if you're getting Lamar Jackson in this case, be comfortable taking that.
Yeah, and if he has that sitting out there, that's also like one of those trades that you can sit on until like Thursday, and you feel like, oh, is he actually going to be back? And then if he is, then you can take the trade, and if not, then don't take the trade, and then you still have a quarterback in the waiting, or wait for the following week or something like that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I think if he's back, you're fine. So I don't mind taking it if you hear he's going to be active. I think that's what I would say.
For sure. All righty. Oh, another question.
Oh, I actually was trying to pull it off. So that works. Mega Brick on YouTube. If you had a $100 free bet, who are you picking for an anytime touchdown tonight?
Oh, man. Travis Kelce.
National Tight Ends Day. Travis Kelce. I agree.
That's what I would do. Good luck.
Going back to my rundown. Okay. Jets almost benched Justin Fields. He ends up playing this week. They end up upsetting the Bengals and putting up 39 points out of nowhere. Will Fields keep the starting quarterback job after the upset win?
First off, apologies to everyone I said start the Bengals defense. I thought this would be the one and only time you could. And
you even feels wrong saying this, but we're going to send it. So you kind of jinxed yourself.
Yeah, apologies. I was in some of that same boat, so we
I
all
said
suffered
the Falcons and they got 0. I didn't do much better than you.
So, but yeah, Fields, I don't know what they're going to do. It depends on Tyrod Taylor. I think it's hard to bench him after the game that they just won, getting their first win of the season. But at the same time, like if he has a bad first half and Tyrod's up, like I could see a switch mid game. So
I think it's a short leash. I don't think it should be because what is starting or playing Tyrod do for you at this point? So I think it should just be Fields, but I could see short leash. I think that's a good answer.
Alrighty.
I'm going to go back to the Texans game that you were just saying you didn't have a whole lot of insight on, so I'm sorry in advance. But CJ Stroud, I guess not even just this game, over the last few weeks has looked better. Is 2023 CJ Stroud back?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago, they played the Titans. Last week, they were on a bye. This week, they played the banged up 49ers.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know if I can fully stamp the back just based on the level of talent, but he's looked a lot better than he did the first quarter of the season. And I still think Stroud's a pretty good quarterback. So, he also did what he did. If I'm going to be negative, I should give him credit. He did that with Nico Collins being inactive. So
he did. Yes. I mean, Xavier Hutchinson and Jalen Noel, his top 2 receivers this week.
For sure.
It is nice to see him be able to do that without technically his top 2 receivers because there was why am I blanking on his name? Cool. Yeah.
Yep. Right there with you.
He's been so important this year that we cannot even remember
Christian
Who
Kirk.
the heck it is? That's it. Christian Kirk. See, there we go. It's been good in like 2 years. It's unfortunate.
All right.
Glad the brain's working.
Yes, barely struggling over here.
Yeah.
Will the Pats finally give Henderson consistent carries? Probably not, but they should.
But they should. So the worst part about it is, like, he finally did get 10 carries this week. He was very effective with them. He had a couple of big runs, and then he fumbled. And I mean, that didn't seem to affect it. And it doesn't seem like the coaching staff seems to care about fumbles there anymore because, like,
They all do it.
They all do it. So I'm not too worried about it at this point. But it's frustrating because by argument for putting him in was they have so many other fumbles and he does it. But the explosiveness that he brings, I really hope they do, but I don't think they will because they've been so enamored by Ramondre Stevenson still, and this kind of felt like it was out of nowhere.
Yeah, and they also scored 40 points this week too. So
32. Yeah,
okay.
They were up in control. Stevenson still out-touched Henderson 14-10, but Henderson had 75 yards compared to Stevenson 34.
I mean, Henderson's the more talented back at this point, I would think, but
yeah, I agree. Drake May even outran Ramondre Stevenson on 7 carries, so that's funny.
But all right, we got a big controversy talking right here.
Yes, we do. I'm hoping you saw the play here. Jalen Hurts push falls over the pile, gets the ball ripped out. They called forward progress stopped. Was it a tush push fumble? And I guess we can go into the whole outset of whatever else goes with that too.
It was a fumble.
Yes,
100%. This was not the goal line. You didn't just have to cross the first down line. Any other play, they let it go on. They didn't actually blow it dead till the ball was on the ground in Kayvon Thibodeau's hands. But then they went back and said, no, it was forward progress stop. So it's just another reason why I think this play is getting banned this offseason. And it's not so much it's just because it's so poorly officiated.
It is, and the worst part is that's not even something that should have been hard to officiate. That's a normal play, like a normal action, a normal play at that point. It was obvious he was on top of the pile, falling off the side of it. Everyone could see it from the TV angle even. It wasn't even like it was hidden from that. I don't know how an official blew that call so badly. Like, even if they nixed the return and just said, oh, Giants ball there, that would have been fair. Like, that was embarrassing for the NFL. And that wasn't the only call in that game that people were up in arms about either.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things now it's sorry, a text message timed on my laptop and it completely derailed my train of thought. But because it's forward progress, that's a judgment call. That's not something to be reviewed. So, it looks clear and obvious. It's oh, well, they called it dead. So,
but I mean, I don't know this rule. Maybe you do. If they go back to the replay and hear that the fumble came out before the whistle, can they not overturn that?
No, because it's non-reviewable. It's a non-reviewable call.
So then also tell me how they allowed the Giants to review it. Because they did.
Because the NFL doesn't know what they're doing.
They had a whole 5-minute discussion with Dayball about how he can't review it, and they called forward progress. And then they still let him drop the challenge flag and then went to commercial timeout and reviewed it. The whole thing was a mess.
Yeah. And that's why that's another strike for this play come this offseason.
It is. And I mean, if you guys want to have an argument in the comments about all the other things that came up in officiating in that game, I'd love to talk with you about it, but I'm not going to bore the people listening that don't want to hear it or try to run through it all with Cody here. So do you want to go back to another fan question?
Yeah, and we can tie that right into the last topic of reality check, but we'll do the fan question first.
Cool. All right. Hobby Steals on YouTube. Do you guys think that I should trade Josh Jacobs for James Cook? Jacobs obviously didn't have a great game last night.
No, because he's battling a little bit of a calf injury. You saw some extra workload to Emmanuel Wilson last week. Now, he still got the touchdown to save his fantasy day. I kind of think I would. Josh Jacobs has been so touchdown dependent. I mean, Cook is too, don't get me wrong. Most running backs are. But because of the injury, because of Emmanuel Wilson looking good, potentially getting Marshawn Lloyd back. I mean, Jacob's always going to be their guy. Don't get me wrong. But I think James Cook seems a little bit healthier. So I think I would make this trade.
I agree. Now, I mean, James Cook is very up and down, like again, but I feel like his floor has been better. His lowest yardage output this year has been 49 yards, obviously a bad game, but I feel like I can think of 3 games that Jacobs was close to that, but he scored 1 or multiple touchdowns, and that's what really has been floating his fantasy value. So I think it's a fair trade, and I think I would take James Cook instead of Josh Jacobs.
Alrighty. I think that means it is time for the waiver wire.
I set you up on a soapbox to be able to talk about your team, and you skipped it.
Dude, I did. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to jinx anything.
Okay. Well, we'll bring it back up later and see if he wants to talk about it. There's your teaser to like, subscribe, and stick with us later. But the waiver wire. This might be the best running back waiver wire we've had all year, at least when it comes to depth.
But I still don't think there's like a guy that you're like if you have $100 of fab to start the season, you're probably, because of how it's been sitting around the $75, $80 range, I would guess. I don't think there's anyone worth saying $60, go win me a league.
No, I don't think there is, but the closest guy there is to that is Tyrone Tracy, because he was dropped in about 70% of NFL.com leagues. He's in about 30, and now lead back out there on the waiver wire. Like, it's the closest you're going to get probably the rest of the season too, because a lot of people are sucking up handcuffs because of how the wire's been.
Yeah, and I know I'm in a league where I had to play Tyrone Tracy last week just because I was so by Mageddon.
You got a touchdown too.
I got a touchdown. I picked him up, and now I have him without spending any fab.
Lucky you jumped the wire there. But another starting back that's out there right now is Bam Knight. I know that one's not exactly exciting, but the Cardinals did waive Michael Carter today, so he's got even more of a stronghold on that until Trey Benson's back. So guy who can get you through buys and injuries for the next few weeks sitting out there on the waiver wire is not a bad option.
Yeah, and then RJ Harvey's the other name to pay attention to at the running back spot. He just is a younger guy. Dobbins is still the guy there, but he's getting more and more. Maybe pick him up a week or 2 early if you have the spots, but you might not, because I had to cut him for a bye week this week because I needed a quarterback.
People are going to start jumping on him now because of the touchdowns too, but when you look at it, touches and yardage, like, he hasn't been the most effective or the most used. But if Dobbins continues to be up and down, you have to think he's going to get more opportunity, and he has gotten a lot of touchdowns. Like, it's interesting how he's been used in the red zone in some cases, or he just happens to be the lucky guy. He's spelling him and he gets a 20-yard score. Like, he has a nose for the end zone.
Absolutely.
Not that you really want a lot of shares of this offense, but Tyjae Spears for the Titans has been fairly effective since he's come back from his injury. He's slowly getting worked in more and more, and Tony Pollard's one of the top running backs out there on the trade market for the NFL trade deadline in 8 days. So there's a chance he ends up being a lead back. Not a bad guy to go off the waiver wire for.
Yeah, him and Dylan Sampson, who's also on our list, is just the opportunity on bad offenses. That's the thing that scares me, that I'd probably avoid both of them. But out of the two, I like Spears better.
I definitely like Spears better also. Sampson's also limited by, like, we don't know if Judkins plays after the bye, it's fine. Like, you don't have to worry about Sampson at all. But if he ends up starting, he's like a 1-week fill-in. Like, he doesn't really have a lot of standalone value because he's on a bad offense. And another guy I didn't even put on here was Tank Bigsby. If Saquon misses time, it seems like Bigsby's going to have an opportunity to be like a 1-week fill, but I'm not expecting Saquon to miss time.
And then some other handcuffs. Or you just mentioned the handcuffs. I'm out of it today. Kayshon Boutte, Troy Franklin, Shamir Dyke. You got to be careful with that one.
DK.
Yep. That's why you got to be careful with it.
Yep.
But yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
Franklin was one of the best wide receivers in the league this week. I mean, there was a lot of people on bye, but he got 2 touchdowns. Booty got another touchdown. He's on a heater right now. DK seems like he's trying to carve out a role in the Titans offense that doesn't have a lot of role to carve, but keep an eye on him, I guess.
Yeah. And then I think the other name that to really pay attention to is at the tight end position with Gadsden from the Chargers. He's really seen to make a name for himself over the last couple of weeks, and the tight end position is so high variance that like I'd go out and get a guy. Like Quentin Johnson didn't have a target. I don't think that's going to happen every week, but he's definitely a guy they're featuring, especially in the red zone.
Exactly. And if we're going to see less Quentin Johnston, and he's going to kind of take over some of those targets, that's a guy to have. We saw how successful 3 guys were. If that third guy ends up being him and he's a tight end, that's 100% worth it at that position, and see if he gets some touchdowns for you.
Alrighty. Harold Fannon's down here on the list. Sorry. Went to the next page. I missed it.
My bad. Yep. Harold Fannin on there too. He's kind of been somebody who you can just kind of hang around on the dartboard. I think I also skipped quarterback, Sam Darnold, who has a good stretch before the bye, coming off the bye. Somebody you could find at the quarterback position to try to give you some stability if you need it. Fan question then, Cody?
Yeah, and that would be our transition into Monday Night Preview.
All right. J Dabs on YouTube. Hey y'all, PPR and half point tight end per. I'm guessing tight end get an extra half point per catch. Would you rather roll with Ertz or Bill tonight?
It's a great question. Because of the extra point, it makes me want to say Ertz, but I think I still have to not overthink this and go Bill.
We've seen not a lot out of Bill over the last 2 games, though. So with the boost and Mariota playing.
That's true. Mariota is playing.
Mariota seems to have had success with Ertz, but I say that, and I think the last time they played together, he put up a donut. So this is a tough question.
It's definitely flip a coin territory.
Let me give you this. If you need less than 10 to win, I'll go Ertz with the bonus point. If you need a boom, I'm going to go Bill and hope he goes off.
Yeah, I think I might push that to like 12 to 14 because you're just going to bet on Ertz getting the touchdown at that point. I think that
here's your context. Looking for floor, 35-point lead facing Mariota and Terry. Facing Mariota makes me want to play Ertz more too then.
So if he does throw a touchdown to him, let's go Ertz.
Let's go Ertz. I think floor also you're looking hopefully better with Ertz too with the extra bonus point there.
But speaking of this game, Commanders at Chiefs. We know Jaden Daniels, the Washington Commanders are 10.5-point underdogs against the Chiefs, who have been playing much better as of late. Biggest takeaways you got for this game?
We see if the Chiefs offense keeps rolling and if Rashee Rice stays involved or if Washington can kind of try to take him out of the game. Can the Chiefs run game get going? Are they going to keep giving a lot of touches to Pacheco, and is he going to be productive? Are we going to see Brashard Smith keep working in? Commander side of the Commander side of the ball. I mean, they're basically just going to be playing survival mode, I think, in this game. They need something out of Mariota, and they need to get the run game going if they want to have a shot.
Yeah, I think that is a good point. There's really no outside of Jaden Daniels, no big names for this one. So I don't have much to add for this one unless I think you summed it up pretty nicely.
Yeah, Terry back, Debo back. Those are the 2 big things. If you got them going, which you probably, if you have them on your roster, have them in your lineup on Buymageddon. Hoping for the best for you there. Maybe it works out if the Chiefs score a lot of points. This might be a little bit of a shootout.
We love a good shootout with the Chiefs and another team on Monday Night Football, so hopefully we get that one. But a little bit shorter today. You got anything else to add?
I do. So just because I thought it was funny, Buymageddon, almost no one left on the benches. That didn't really have much choice on who to play. I actually scored a low of 120 points in my NFL.com leagues this week and put up 160 in one of them. Like, I don't know how I found points when there was no points this week, but I thought it was a weird coincidence.
And that's why fantasy football, we love it, but we also hate it at the exact same time.
Yep. And 5-3 in the Couch GMs World Cup. I'm coming for your championship.
I hope you get it. I had not checked to see what's going to happen. I'm going to do that right after we get off.
You're projected to win.
Thank you. That's good to know. But I think that'll wrap us up a little bit shorter on today's episode just because there's not as many games to talk about. But as always, thanks for checking out the podcast at the Couch GMs, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, all those good places. Week 8 used to be the halfway point, kind of the halfway point now. We're here for the fall rest of the season, breaking it down, more fantasy talk. I'm Cody Roadcap. That's George Kurth. We'll talk to you all on Thursday.